The Office of the Director of National Intelligence is out with a brand new logo, and it's set the internet on fire. It's raising a lot of questions. I'm going to put the logo up here on the screen, and let's keep it up here. You keep coming back to it. Tell me, do you notice anything odd about this new logo? This is a government logo. Do you notice anything odd about it?
Well, maybe you didn't know what it looked like before, but you might think something is notable here.
Yeah, let's take a closer. Here's a closer view of what I want to point out, which is the UFO in the lower left-hand corner, right there. There you go. It's interesting about this UFO design. It's the exact design that Bob Lazar worked on at Area 51 at S4. In this, I think it's called the Sports Design UFO. Bob Lazar, of course, is a physicist who worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, and also he worked on the reverse engineering of these extraterrestrial craft, specifically at the site S4 in Area 51 near Groom Lake, at that operation location in the 1980s. Here is his original drawing. Bob Lazar's original drawing he made. He wasn't allowed to take photos, of course, when he worked there, but this was his sketch of it, and there you can see the reactor core here. So there's the reactor core, the anti-gravity area on the bottom that you couldn't even get, you couldn't even touch. Basically, it was like putting your hands on something somewhat malleable, but you were forced away from it. Here, Bob talks. Here he was talking with Joe Rogan about this exact issue on the reverse engineering of these craft. I'll come back to this new logo in a second and why this is really interesting as it relates to the United States government. But just to give you some frame of reference on this specific craft that is now in this logo. Here's Bob Lazar talking about how they figured out how to turn on the spaceship, how they turned on these reactor cores.
Well, they knew there was a fuel source in it, and they were proficient at making it work. And again, my analogy to something like this is you can drop a motorcycle off in the wagon train days and just leave it with the keys parked outside, somebody's place. Everybody will come around it, and they'll poke and prod, and eventually they'll turn the key, get it to start, and become proficient at riding it.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to understand what the hell's going on. They won't be able to make the plastic fender, much less anything else. And I think that's exactly the state we were at. We played around with the parts long enough before I got there where they could make the reactor operate, take the fuel out, and know that it makes it work. How exactly what was going on in the reactor remained a mystery at the time. I think we made some progress on what was going on inside, but I don't think anybody really knew anything. They could just watch what was going on and make note of it.
So you remember how the National Intelligence Manager for Aviation prepared the UAP UFO report. One of the offices responsible for preparing that report. So, and again, that report was massive. Like, how many sightings? What does the government know? What does the government not know? What off-world vehicles do we have in our, in our archives, in our warehouses, in our arsenals, so to speak, alongside the UAP task force. So, again, this office is responsible for analyzing airborne threats. That's their whole purpose. Things we don't understand.
Well, and look how just the logo itself shows, like, all of the others are flying in unison, like Unity, and that one's way off by itself, like it's the enemy. You know what I mean? Like, right. It's way down there.
And like, we're watching
like
this.
Flying like we're together. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're watching this thing that's off the coast, Again, the office is responsible for these airborne threats, I guess, like they see, a UFO, or they also have in that logo a drone as well. Things we don't understand or we have no idea how they operate. And you can see in the report, it was drafted by the Unidentified Aerial Task Force, and the OD and the National Intelligence Director Manager for Aviation. This is the same office with this new UFO logo on it. Here it is in the report. It was drafted by the UTAP, UAP Task Force, and the ODNI, National Intelligence Manager for Aviation. This is from the report, the Congressional Intelligence Report on UFOs from this office. Executive Director of this office is from the United States Air Force. Here he is, Air Force General Daniel Simpson. There he is. Of course, they've been working on the reverse engineering of these craft for decades, as Bob Lazar points out.
We can observe the effects of gravity, but we have no idea what it is. All we can do is observe it, and we can't make it. The only way you can make gravity is just put more mass together, and it's just a product of gravity. But if you can if you have a machine that makes gravity, you can pretty much do anything. You can affect time. You can have force fields. All that stuff that's in science fiction becomes reality if you have a machine that can make gravity. And what we worked on in the desert was a machine that makes gravity.
Is that mind-blowing? Like, wake up, people. Like, literally, he was working on this, and others have come forward who were actively there working on these and reverse engineering of these craft. Like, read Philip Corso's books, look at the documentation that exists on this. That ship has sailed. The United States government has acknowledged this now. Like, that's old news. That is old news. So the question then is this common shape that's in this new logo that the government sees when they have these encounters. Like, is this the most common shape? And so the documents from these UFO reports largely redacted, blacked out. We couldn't see them when we got our hands on them, right? So again, look, this is the common shapes part of that report.
No, that tells us a lot.
Can you see that? The only thing that's not blacked out is literally the sentence that says common shapes in the middle of the screen. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that's literally what it says. Common shapes is blacked out. We don't know what is this then? The one that you chose to put in your logo, are these the most common shapes? The ones that Bob Lazar worked on at Area 51? Now they're in your logo? Like, are you telling us something without telling us? Anyway, I know it's kind of fun to kind of play around with this idea. It's just a logo after all, right? But they are actively responsible for identifying these aerial phenomenon. Nick Pope ran the British government's UFO project for the British Ministry of Defense, and Nick Pope tweeted this: "The National Intelligence Manager for Aviation logo features a UFO. But this isn't something hidden that's been uncovered. It's something they've wanted to be noticed. Elements within the U.S. government are actively promoting the UFO narrative. But why? That is a great question. And why now? Is it so that they can increase or distract us from other things? Like, yes, we know they exist. Yes, we've been reverse engineering these craft. Yes, aliens, of course, they exist. Is it now to bolster our defenses, spend more on a space force so that now we want to build a moon base against China? We want to actively do that. So the UFO might actually be the most normal part of this logo, actually. Of course, the U.S. government over the past few years has repeatedly acknowledged the existence of UFOs and UAPs. They're actively investigating these craft. We've heard from government officials who've worked on the reverse engineering program, calling these off-world vehicles. So it's not surprising maybe that then the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which is responsible for this, has been, would have this in their logo. Now, the folks over at Sandbox News did a good job of going through some of the other items in this logo, like the triangle drone here, the Dark Star Aurora. Like, there's a number of other things in here, like this triangle. There's also the drone in this. We went through, Alex Hollings did a really good job diving into this and talked about, the RQ-7 drone. This is the UFOs and the only mystery in this SEAL. Like, why is this drone here? Specifically, the Shadow Tactical Reconnaissance Drone operated by both the U.S. Army and Marine Corps, among other national militaries. There's also in here, the Dark Star Triangular Aurora craft, the hypersonic platform that's featured in this. Yeah, and then we have the Adobe craft, the silhouettes of the KC-135. Again, the wing-tipped extensions, Bear E craft. Like, all of these things in this logo. Why is it there? And is the Office of the Director of National Intelligence just futzing with us, playing around with us? The website is clearly under construction. Where this logo showed up was clearly a government website. Clearly, there's all sorts of URL data on this that shows that it's legit. So again, really interesting that it's in an NIMA directory. And then it was weird because then the website changed and updated itself later that evening, and updated the logo later that evening and removed it. Somebody in the office discussed it, printed it, made it, put it out there, put it on their website, And where did it come from? Where did the information? Why does it look almost exactly like the Bob Lazar craft? Anyway, we're still awaiting a number of key documents from the government. Of course, the Pentagon right now actively in kind of a fight with Congress over UFO investigative bodies. Right now, the Congress saying we want to do it, Pentagon saying we want to do it. So we're seeing this sort of unfold. What will we get at the end of the day from these different investigative bodies? Will we get something more meaningful from Congress than we will the Pentagon, or is the Pentagon going to continue to cover these documents up?